On this week's episode of the Program Guys podcast, we recap a wild week of the NFL offseason as big names continue to move around to new places. March Madness enters its second week. We check in our bracket challenge and update the listeners where they stand against us. OU spring football practice is officially underway in Norman as the Brent Venables era begins in full. We circle the wagons from California and give you our PGP MVPs of the week. All right, let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up and welcome into the Program Guys podcast, episode number 11. Today is Thursday, March 24th, 2022. My name is Mason Prince. I'm joined with you as always by Mark Hall, Ryan Tyson, Patrick Hertzberger, and Matt Gann. Pat and Matt together in California. Boys representing. How we doing out in Cali, baby?
Feeling good, living better, baby.
Yeah,
Matt's already drunk.
So are you
Matt's
drunk ass?
slurring his words.
Matt's had one sip of Nooner.
It's 3:22 p.m. over there.
3:22 on the West Coast p.m. And all the guys are drinking beer. I am not. I am in Grand Lake covering a fishing tournament. I'm still sort of on the clock, kind of, but don't tell anybody. So we are here. It is a great day to be Mason Prince. Let me tell you. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. But guys, how we feeling? How's everybody's past week? Everybody doing good?
Doing good.
Great, man.
Ryan got a patio. I got a patio.
I started a new job this week. It's just been a lot.
I quit my job this week.
That's right. Patrick just sent out his goodbye email to follow him on LinkedIn. Or do you follow or friend on LinkedIn? What do you do?
You connect.
My bad. Pat and Zuckerberg like that. Also,
Trevor got a new job.
Yeah, Trevor got a new job. Shout out to producer Trevor. Big ups to him. By the way, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, on Instagram at Program Guys with a Z. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We appreciate your comments. Anything that you guys do to interact with us, we truly appreciate it. Guys, lot to get to, so we might as well just start and get into it. NFL is insane right now. Today is Wednesday. We're recording this on Wednesday night, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline right now. But first, let's start with, did we talk about Russell Wilson last week to Denver?
So I actually think we did, but I put it in there just
that's fine
because
briefly mentioned
just to recap. I get what you're doing, Mark. Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. Matt Ryan traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz going to the Washington Commanders, still a whack ass name. Davante Adams going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. Robert Woods.
Bobby Trees.
I don't know who did that. Going to the Tennessee Titans. Tyreek Hill, the big news today, heading to the Miami Dolphins. Matt, sorry, not Matt. Mark, I want to start with you because I want to talk about Matt Ryan to Indianapolis. For the majority of your life, Matt Ryan's been your quarterback. How are you feeling?
I'm mostly at peace with it. He is not good enough to elevate the roster that the Falcons have now, and the Falcons couldn't elevate the roster around the cap hit that Matt Ryan, is. Now, some of that, all of the money issue there is on the previous regime because they kept kicking Matt's cap hit down the road for signings like Dante Fowler that just didn't work out. But the bigger thing is this regime selling out wholeheartedly for Deshaun Watson last week and not getting him, being humiliated and not getting him, and losing any leverage with trading Matt because of this $7.5 million bonus that they pushed to Tuesday. I'm sorry. That's
it's
my
okay.
dogs.
Don't worry about it.
And give me 1 second.
So while Mark takes care of his dogs. Oh, is he back?
I'm back.
There you go.
I just yell at him. And backed themselves into a corner with Matt where they're getting a 3rd round pick for him and they don't have any comments on it until today. They're not a serious organization. That's not how you treat the face of the franchise for 14 years. It's very weak. It gives me pause about the rest of the moves that they're doing. I actually think the free agent signings that they've made are not, on the whole very bad, but the big picture stuff just looks weird now because clearly this wasn't the plan, and Matt deserves better. I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him too. I saw something that my friend Miles Garrett, shout out to Miles, reporter for Fox 5 in Atlanta. He tweeted out
defensive end for the Cleveland Browns.
Exactly. There's a funny story about that. I'll get to it at some point. It's a very funny story. When that whole Mason Rudolph thing happened, and he got hit with the helmet, that Miles Garrett got eviscerated on Twitter because they thought he was the actual Miles Garrett.
No.
And he's verified. So like people didn't even think. They were just like, yeah, that's Miles Garrett.
They just
that
hit
guy.
it.
Yeah. But anyway, he tweeted out that the Atlanta Falcons posted a goodbye video to Tom Brady, or was it Tom Brady? To Drew Brees, and it was 20 seconds longer than the Falcons video that they posted for Matt Ryan.
So the Falcons then today, or maybe yesterday, released a 3-minute video for Matt Ryan. That was a lot better. I saw some quote from some Falcons staffer that was like, the 50-second one was just to have like a rapid response thing ready.
I get it.
It's hard to encapsulate 15 years of a guy's impact on a franchise in a city in, a day. So they took their time with it, and it actually ended up pretty good. It could be an hour as far as I'm concerned. But
Patrick, the Deshaun Watson saga in Houston is officially over. How you feel?
I don't know. I feel better now that we have 6 picks instead of 5. I mean, obviously that's a bonus. I was thinking it sucked that we only had 1 pick out of that trade for 2022, but now that we have a 4th rounder too, I feel a little better about it. In general, I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad it's all over. I feel bad for Baker, but I'm just glad it's over for now.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation that Baker's in, and I don't really know what the future holds for him, and that's something we can get into maybe a little bit later. But I do want to get into Matt. How come your boy Aaron Rodgers ran off his only dude to throw to?
Yeah. Let's get some context.
You're already
what is wrong with you?
This drunk,
dude. What is wrong with you?
Again, this is why I said extending Aaron Rodgers was stupid. He's not even that good.
What is wrong with both of you?
Both of y'all kind of turn.
This podcast sponsored by High Noon.
You can't say that.
Don't say that.
That's literally the one thing I told you not to say.
We're not allowed to do that.
You're such a mouth breather. God. All right. So Davante Adams, he's gone. How do you feel?
I'm okay with it. Just kind of like what
how are you
okay with it?
Cap space. 20 plus million. We just can't afford it. So that frees up cap space for us.
Who's he going to throw to?
You franchised him. You could pay the franchise tag.
Yeah.
You could afford the cap space to pay him. Actually, paying him would have opened up the possibility of pushing the cap hit down the road. Read up on the cap, my dog. The problem was that Adams was so mad at the Packers that he was out no matter what.
Right. The relationship was over last year when they didn't pay it. So, listen, I'm happy for him. He gets to reunite with Derek Carr, his Fresno State quarterback. He's living the dream. That's all that matters.
Matt, I need you to really be honest with me. Is that really the first drink that you've had? Be honest with me.
No, the audio.
The audio.
It's the audio.
It's the lag. It's the internet lag.
It's the audio.
This freaking guy. All right, we're moving on.
Hey, I know I want to touch on one thing.
Go ahead,
Dan,
Ryan. Sorry.
How do you feel about your boy Zadarius Smith actually coming to the Vikings?
Oh,
Instead of to the Ravens.
Cap space again. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a direct competitor, man.
Doesn't matter.
You have no one to throw to.
Doesn't matter.
Randall Cobb.
Shout out to Zadarius Smith also getting the bag on that one. Originally signed a 4-year, $35 million deal with the Ravens and basically just backed out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think they agreed during the tampering period, but afterward or during that period, he backed out of it and ends up signing with the Vikings for 3 years, 42. So massive per year jump for him.
He's really good. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and 3 years is easier to stomach than 4 years, just lengthwise.
All of our teams making moves this offseason. It's good. It's really good to see. The Miami Dolphins have made a lot of moves.
How good do you think it's been for me to see the moves?
Dude, you got Marcus Mariota. What more could you want?
Yeah, I know.
I'm pleased with that, actually.
Yeah,
I do love.
That's where I'm at. Is I'm like, yeah, Mariota.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
I do love the aggressive moves that we're seeing in the NFL right now, and I really feel like you can see when a front office is actually good versus a front office is actually crap, and how that's all working and playing out. And I love the Dolphins moves, but yeah, take that away.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for leading me into that. You're taking away my segues, and I like it. The Miami Dolphins made a massive trade today on Wednesday, I should say, and they have traded for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is heading to South Beach for a 2022 first, second, fourth rounder and a 2023 fourth and sixth rounder. He could not get a deal done with the Kansas City Chiefs, so they were looking to trade him. This deal happened so quickly on Wednesday, late morning, and it just so happened that he's heading to South Beach. He gets a 4-year extension worth $120 million, $72.2 million guaranteed. That makes him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. You add on top of Tyreek Hill, Terron Armstead signed as a free agent from the New Orleans Saints, Connor Williams from the Dallas Cowboys, who's a center, Raheem Mostert from the 49ers, Chase Edmonds from the Arizona Cardinals. This Miami Dolphins offense is going to be loaded. It really is. It might be the most loaded that I've seen this team in my lifetime. That's saying something. It's very impressive to see what they've done. I tweeted this out earlier today. I thought Mike McDaniel, that was going to be like an experiment, like he'd be a stopgap head coach, just see what the quirky guy can get. He's built a team that he has to perform now, or he's not like a fun experiment anymore. Like he has to be good. And this team is expected to make the playoffs. And all of these pieces around Tua Tagovailoa, I'm going to say it, he has to perform, because if the Dolphins don't, it's solely on Tua Tagovailoa. He has no more excuses, and I can't defend him anymore as a Tua non-member. None of that stuff. He's got to perform for this team to make the playoffs, and I think he can. And we'll find out, and we'll see where it's at. Mark, you were smiling the whole time.
So it's funny to me because I agree with everything that you're saying, but it's very funny that Dolphins fandom has gone from ride or die for Tua. He's our guy. I don't want Deshaun. Tua's better than Deshaun. Oh, y'all think Tua's trash? Here's Tua. He's great. And now he has a 1-year leash.
I mean, I get what you're saying. He was given 2 years to perform, and I don't want to say everyone, because there's a lot of people who are talking crap on Tua today on social media who I guarantee you haven't watched a Dolphins game in their life. I'm not saying it's you. But for the past 2 years, the pressure and the weird situation Tua was put under the previous regime and Brian Flores was an impossible task. He had no one to block for him. He had arguably the worst offensive line. People want to talk about getting Joe Burrow killed. That Dolphins offensive line should be literally arrested for attempted manslaughter. They tried to get to a kill
with the Bengals.
Yes. They were so terrible. They were so bad, and nothing panned out for them. They finally got an offensive minded coach in. They're getting all these weapons in for Tua. They have made it known that this is so Tua can work out. So if he has 1 year and he doesn't work out, then that's it. You gave him 3 years, and that's pretty much it. I think he has to show it this year. And it sucks because I love Tua and I want him to be the guy, but I think that's just where it's at.
I also think, and you noted this in a tweet earlier, the Dolphins have 2 first-round picks next year. They are well equipped to trade up for a guy if they like a guy next year.
Yeah.
If Tua doesn't work out, it's very easy for them.
Yeah. They own the 49ers pick and they own their own pick. So those probably won't be very high picks, but 2 picks regardless in the first round, you could easily trade that up high. I completely agree with that. That's let's move on. The free agency period is still going on. We can touch on this real quick. Best free agency move of the offseason so far. What do you guys like? Anything stick out to you?
Falcons fan here. We got Casey Hayward on a 2-year deal. Maximum money is $11 million, but it really is like a 1-year deal. And then the second year is not guaranteed, so they can cut him. Casey Hayward was awesome last year as a corner for the Raiders and is going to be, I think, really great opposite AJ Terrell, who is, an all-star, who's an all-pro. So that's really great. That one comes to mind immediately. I'll let other guys talk and then I'll maybe think about another.
I think the way that the Bengals rebuilt their offensive line, because they were going after the same guys that the Dolphins were going after to protect Joe Burrow, and the Bengals, I think, got the right guys in there to protect Joe. So shout out to the Bengals. I think they did a good job. Anybody else?
I just want to know what the Cleveland Browns are doing.
Same.
It's like a dumpster fire. So,
dude, Baker,
I don't have to care about them anymore.
Baker broke social media silence today for the first time in a long time, and it was about golf. And he was picking in the match play tournament.
Nice.
He was picking guys. It is so, and I think the PGA Tour did something funny, like something cheeky about Baker, like making an announcement or something, and it was about him picking players for the match play tournament. So,
guys, if we're looking at just football, the Browns have upgraded in a lot of ways this offseason.
I'm not looking at just football.
Sure. Okay, fine. All right. There you go. But
I can't separate it.
But then you know what the Browns are doing. But then you know exactly what the Browns
which makes it so much worse. It's just
it's they're a bottom line franchise right now, and that's what they're looking at.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Matt, anything to add?
Nope.
Is Wi-Fi better?
No,
it's not any better. Okay, just making sure. Let's move on. We're 2 rounds through March Madness. Sweet 16 coming up this weekend. Elite 8 starts on Saturday. Tonight is the Sweet 16. Let's go through our bracket challenge real quick. In terms of our listeners, big shout out to the listeners as always. You guys were great in joining that bracket challenge. We really appreciate it. Also, big shout out to Patrick for setting that up as well. Patrick, you helped out a lot with that.
Yeah, Pat.
No problem.
Good job, Pat. Want to give a shout out. Scuba Duba, Ryan Heil. He is in first place in the 98.7 percentile of entire ESPN brackets. The man is in first place in our group. However, he picked Baylor as his national champion. Baylor is out of that tournament. The door is open for the rest of the field. Shout out to Becca, Patrick's girlfriend, Becca. She's in second place, 97th percentile. Shout out to her. Let's
I didn't know it was that high. That's so awesome.
Yeah, man. She's doing great.
She's killing it.
In terms
I told her I was gonna let everyone know that I helped her with her bracket and filled it out, and she was not happy about that.
She's not. Oh, you are.
She does basketball really well.
You kind of just did. Okay. In terms of our guys, the program guys, Ryan, tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm looking at the list right now. I have Ryan in first place.
Hey,
for us, Ryan's in first place.
Hey,
I am looking. Matt Gann looks to be in second. I know I'm in dead last. I know I am because I checked on it earlier. Mark, I can't see you and I can't see Pat, and because your names are probably different. I don't know where you are.
Oh, well, you can't see me because I'm like really at the end, like the bottom.
That's where I am too.
No, you guys have been complaining like, oh, my brackets are busted. I'm at the bottom of this. I'm going to lose. I've literally been dead last.
Oh, brother.
The whole time.
I'm so sorry. There's another
Yeah.
page. I did.
Yeah, I'm like, keep scrolling through the pages.
Brother.
Wolf.
Oh, brother. I'm
Wolf.
sorry.
There's like 83 people in our bracket, and I'm at like 78.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I was worried about I was going to have to watch a foreign film, but now I
No,
definitely
it's gonna
don't
be
feel
me.
like I'm going to.
Wait, this is great, guys. I was so worried.
There's a
All right,
second
hot
page.
take, Pat.
There's a-
A1.
There's a second
Get
page.
the app.
It's so great.
It's
Oh,
all about
I'm
the
on.
max
Wait,
points.
no, Pat. All right,
It's all
hold
about the
on,
max points.
Mason. Yeah, I'm on the second page.
Oh, Mark.
Bro,
I'm
so-
sorry,
Yeah,
dude.
Mark, you're on the second page, dude.
Dang, bro.
Well, no, I wasn't joking about the second page, Pat. I know.
Here's
I'm
the
a
thing,
loser.
and we talked about this last week, Mark. Mark was taking all of my data and analytics, and he should have been
Analytics?
taking mine.
Here we go. All right. So who's
Gonna
left in
talk
you guys?
shit. Yeah.
Who's left in you guys' final four? I have Arkansas, Arizona, and Kansas left in my final four. Baylor was my other pick. They're gone. Who do you got? You guys have anybody left?
Two of mine are gone. I have Gonzaga and Kansas left, and those are my championship teams. So
Okay.
I have Gonzaga and Houston left,
Gonzaga, and
But-
Houston.
but I had Auburn beating Houston in the Final Four, and they're already out. So
Oh, yeah.
that's a tough one for me.
I had Gonzaga, Kentucky, Arizona, and Auburn. Auburn and Kentucky are out. So
Yeah. Matt.
I just have Gonzaga and Arizona left.
Okay. Well, that's where we're at. Be sure to let us know on social media where you're sitting in that bracket challenge. Do you guys have any games coming up this weekend tonight that intrigue you, pique your interest? Maybe
Is tonight the
Thursday night. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
dude,
date
Texas
the pod.
Tech is going to be
tonight
cool.
is Thursday. Texas Tech Duke. I am excited for that one. Give me the Red Raiders.
Ooh.
Give me the Red Raiders.
Okay.
I'd also
I
not
love-
be surprised if Michigan beat Villanova.
I'm excited for the Gonzaga
when does-
Arkansas games.
when does St. Peter's play?
Oh,
all
the
I care about.
Peacocks.
The Peacocks.
When do they play?
The Cox
they're
play
Friday.
on Friday.
They're Friday.
The
Mighty
Cox are
Five.
playing the Boilermakers.
That's right.
That guy's mustache is something else.
Dude, it really
Mhm.
is. That Timmy guy
looks like you, Mark.
from
Oh, he looks better than me, but thanks.
Guys,
Pat.
the best game that I watched, I know this isn't on the outline, but the best game I watched in the second round was the last game. It was the Memphis Gonzaga game. That game was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And Zags play so freaking fast. And
It's really fun to watch
it's really fun to watch.
how they play.
That Holmgren future rocket.
That's why I think the Arkansas game against Gonzaga is going to be a whole lot of fun because Arkansas plays very similarly.
Yeah.
We just lost Pat and Matt. There they are. Okay.
And that's
Pat and Matt, you guys are muted. There you go. You're unmuted now. Good job.
Gonzaga, Arkansas is Thursday also.
Yes. Yep. It's there's going to be some really, really good games. I want to touch on
This
this.
is a good weekend.
I want to touch on this real quick because we talked about it just a second ago. Mark, your mustache does look fantastic. Do you guys think I would look good with a
Agreed.
mustache? Katie tells me
Yes.
I can't shave it. She says
So
I have no chin.
I think you would look good with a mustache, but I think it's not worth losing the beard, like to find
All
out,
right,
right?
that's fair.
Yeah, your
That's
beard is
my
great.
thing. Is
Okay.
the beard? We know the beard works. I did the opposite, where
What about-
I had a beard that was bad, and then shaved and found a mustache.
Yeah.
you know, underneath the
Okay.
rubble.
What
Yeah,
about me? What about me? Mustache?
yeah. I think
Just
you
my
do.
side.
I think you
Ryan,
could grow. I think
do
you could grow
it.
a great mustache. I think you could. I really think
That's-
you could.
that's
Gotta
what my,
try it at least.
That was
You have to
my
try it.
father, Steve Tyson's look for like
And
30 years. It was
Matt,
just
I
the
want
best.
you
You
to
should bring it back too.
Matt, I want you to take this the right way because I'm not trying to be mean and I hope it doesn't come off this way.
Oh man,
You have a very mustache face. Like you could wear a mustache and I'd look at you and be like, yeah, that's a mustache face guy. Like that's a
Yeah.
guy who needs a mustache.
It's too patchy.
Too patchy?
Yeah.
Your mustache is? What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I
You're
think-
I
such
don't
a-
think so.
The way you answer things,
I don't think
it's so
you're-
frustrating.
that's going to be our poll this week. Which of the guys would look better with a mustache? We'll put that up there. Pat, can you grow a mustache?
Yeah, I have a mustache selfie, actually. You shared it once on my birthday. It was really sweet of you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did.
Yeah.
How often do you shave?
About twice a week.
About twice a week?
Yeah.
That's good.
Working remote, I don't really have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get it. All right. Anything else on March Madness or mustaches before we move on?
I do. I got a couple things about the Peacocks, right?
Let me hear it.
So
let me hear it.
The cheerleaders couldn't make it to the Kentucky game. The Peacocks cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, sorry, Patrick.
Funding,
yeah,
right.
Yep.
And so NBC, who owns Peacock, the streaming service, was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come in here and be all heroic, and I'm going to fund the Peacock cheerleaders to be able to make it to the second game." They got them a bus. It's a 12-hour drive. You were NBC.
Yeah.
Pay some money and get these girls a
So
flight.
funny.
A commercial
That's
flight.
so funny.
We'll fly.
Wait, how much cheaper could it have possibly been to go the
Dude,
bus route?
Patrick,
That
have you
NBC.
seen- Yeah. Have you seen the TikTok of that dude filling up his RV with gas? He's
No,
spent like
it's like
$1,000.
$1,000 on gas.
Yeah. How could
Yeah,
be
it can't
taking
be
a
that
bus
much.
12 hours be cheaper?
Yeah,
It makes no
crazy.
sense.
Because a plane takes more gas than a bus.
No, like to fly the cheerleaders there.
No, I know. I'm just.
I know.
Okay.
You're being.
I have some other fun facts about St. Peter's.
Yes,
the
give it.
Peacocks. Just real quick. Obviously, they were a 15th seed. They can't blast music in their weight room because the gym borders the philosophy class room, so they're not allowed to. Home games have been canceled this year because of leaky roofs, which is crazy.
Wow.
Their press conferences are held in the yoga studio.
Okay.
Basketball. They have basketball bills currently over 12 months old that they cannot pay, like equipment bills and stuff. They haven't been able to pay them. The coaches' offices have flooded this year
my
because they're
God.
beneath the pool and they have no hot water in the locker room.
Who made that decision beneath the pool?
This just seems like there wasn't like an engineer, like a structural engineer in there when all of this was built.
Bro, how is St. Peter's more poorly set up than all of our high schools were?
How do
Right?
you go about taking that St. Peter's job, seeing the facilities and being like, oh yeah, I can build a winner here. It's great. It's crazy. It's
Hey.
nuts.
And they beat Kentucky.
They did. They beat Kentucky. Calipari should be
If you're
embarrassed.
Calipari, that's
That's a tough look.
that's a tough L.
Yeah,
And he's still
you-
gonna pull like 9 5-stars in the next class.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes,
right,
that I know.
right.
Well, Patrick, thanks for bringing that up. I didn't mean to
Thank you,
skip
Pat.
over you. I didn't see it in the rundown. Moving on, guys, this is the first week of OU football, the Brent Venables era. We keep saying it all the time, but it's officially started. Spring practice, first
It's
spring
so
practice
exciting.
happened on what was that,
Boomer.
Monday? Yeah, Boomer. That's the so he's
Boomer.
So goofy. He's so goofy.
This guy.
The first practice went down. Not a whole lot happening from practice necessarily. We saw Dylan Gabriel throw a little. His new helmet's kind of cool. We saw the new guys in uniform. That was pretty neat. What I thought was interesting was Brent Venables' press conference before it all went down. He said a lot of interesting things. Typical Brent Venables press conference. He started with a 22-minute opening statement.
Best, man.
It's just hysterical.
He's just like, I want to say a couple things.
Yeah.
And then just
I wonder-
20 minutes
I wonder if
stream
he,
of
like,
consciousness doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
I wonder if he like gets the joke. Like if he understands that like
Sure, like
that he
Sure.
talks a lot.
surely people have talked to him and be like, hey man, we should bring in like a communications person for like your speeches, like
Oh, yeah.
conciseness and stuff like that. And he's probably like, no, I don't need that.
It was
I'm
an
good."
hour-long press conference. It was an hour-long press conference. They got like 5 questions in. It was crazy. It was nuts.
So good.
But one of the questions that I want to talk about, because we had a good discussion in our group text earlier this week about it, was that Brent Venables made the comment about commitments and recruits committing to the University of Oklahoma. And a reporter asked him, Bob Prisbillo from Soonerscoop.com, I want to give him credit. He asked him if he would allow other recruits, the recruits that commit to the University of Oklahoma, to go visit other places. And in short, that answer was no, because of what Brent Venables in his definition of commitment means, which when you hear him explain it, We won't go all the way into it. If you want to hear it, go listen to his press conference. He dives into it. Ask the reporter about how he asked his wife to marry him and stuff. It's good stuff. But
it's very funny. I
Yeah,
love
it's
how
very
he,
funny.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
approaches it.
I
when
feel
you
like I
hear
wrote
it-
that for
Yeah.
him. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. When you hear it, it makes sense. But Mark brought up a good point earlier in the week about how it's not how things are done now. Go ahead, Mark.
So that's my whole thing is just sure. This model has worked at Clemson, right? Where Dabo has instituted a rule of if you commit to the Clemson Tigers, you're a Clemson Tiger. So you're not going to go visit all these other schools. You're not going to do that. If you're committed, you're committed. And that's one of those things that sounds so good. That sounds awesome if you can implement it successfully, right? My thing is, I'm not sure that's going to work at every school. I'm not sure that's going to work at every program. And there's a reason that schools like Alabama don't do that. There's a reason that Georgia hasn't done that. You lose out on guys when you do that. And maybe that's the proposition that Brent is willing, Coach Venables is willing to make when he institutes a policy like that, right? If it's guys that won't commit to us because they want to keep hopping around, then we don't want them. That's an honorable position, nothing less than I would expect from Brent Venables. But I do think that you put an artificial restriction on these kids that not all of them are going to resonate with.
And I completely agree with where you're coming from. But when he said it, he made a point to say, do not commit to OU until you are ready to do so. So he's not begging these guys to commit and stay committed. He's telling them, do not commit until you are 100% ready to be here and nowhere else. Like go do all your recruiting, take all your visits, do all that stuff, but do not commit until you are done with all of that, until you think you're done with that. And I think that's the part that I can get on board with. That's the part that I can be okay with go ahead, Ron.
I mean, no, I agree with you, Mason, when you like put it into that context, because I think we see all the time, like every other freaking day, especially during the fall, there's like a high school kid with the tweet that says, sorry, after talking to my family, I've decommitted from XYZ, want to thank XYZ, like, and I'm opening up my recruitment, right? And we see that all the time. And I think rather than just like committing super early and some people leaving, make this something that actually matters and make it a commitment that you're going to hold yourself to. Because BV's entire thing since he's been hired is like, I need to make these people like great football players, but also great men off the field. And I think having and knowing like that, when you make a commitment, keep the commitment. I think that's going to help those kids after college and in their lives and things like that. And I think that's why he's trying to do it.
Pat.
It's tough. I agree with both sides, but at this end of the day, it's not loyalty is not the world we live in anymore. Like people are switching jobs after 6 months, and they're doing that because a new company is like, oh, this person's a talent, I'm going to hire them. I don't care if they've been around here for 6 months or not. So loyalty is just kind of dying. 5 years ago, this would have been an amazing speech and idea. Now we might lose a couple of good players potentially.
Matt.
I see both sides, but I agree with Patrick. That's all I got.
Okay. I mean, this is just amazing.
There's something going on.
There's got to be something going on.
We got to get to the
Look at
bottom
Patrick.
of this. Look at Patrick. Look at Pat.
There's something
He
happening.
can't handle himself over
Matt,
this.
I love you, brother. I can't wait to circle the wagons. Speaking of circle the wagons, that's what we're gonna do right now, baby.
Hey,
Mark,
before that,
Mark,
can we talk spring ball a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Some of the roster came out, like the spring roster came out, and my guy Jaron Kanak is 6'2", 229 as a true freshman.
That's
my
massive
God, man.
18-year-old.
And he's gonna get bigger. He's just gonna get thicker, and like, man, I am super excited to see him hit the field. And he's not the only one. We can go through the list of guys who look like monsters just looking at that roster. We got some freaks in the building, man. I'm excited we're going to be watching the spring game. We won't be at the spring game, but I'm excited to see those guys in action.
Yeah.
Andy liked your tweet.
Andy liked my tweet, which is cool.
Jaron Kanak, come on the pod and discuss your great body. Let's do it.
Jared liked a tweet about Mark calling him a quarterback. That's amazing.
Wildcat quarterback, Jaron Kanak.
Spot.
And the best thing is I didn't tag him. I didn't know that people search themselves out the way that I guess people
would
do.
search myself.
I mean, he like just turned 18. Of course, he's like, okay, got to check who's saying things about me. Am I famous?
Yeah, dude.
I'm in his corner forever and ever and ever. Dude's a badass. Let's get him on the field. Get the ball in his hands.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what this wide receiver position group is going to look like, just because of losing Hazelwood, Weiss coming back fully healthy, Marvin Mims, those guys, Drake Stoops, just seeing what they look like in this new Levy system, especially with Gabriel throwing on the ball. I'm excited to see what that'll look like. Patrick, don't raise your eyebrows. I saw that.
We're not going to talk about it. Fine.
Patrick,
you guys know I'm a big Dylan Gabriel guy.
There was a single video in which Dylan Gabriel threw a pass that was wobbly, and Patrick took it as he doesn't know how to throw a spiral. And it's the most Patrick thing I've ever seen in my life.
It shook Patrick's faith in his Heisman pick.
I know.
He was like, oh, man. Is he going to start over the freshman?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm also excited to see the receivers. I think it's going to be a lot of the receivers and the tight ends. The two new tight ends, in addition to Braden Willis, we've got a lot of options, and I think it's going to be good to feature Marvin Mims more, which I think that they're going to do, because if you go back to Ole Miss with AJ Brown and DK Metcalf, they were using those guys. They were featuring those guys. You know, they were playing to their receiver strength versus Lincoln, who just kind of let the offense spread around. And there's something to that, but this is going to be better.
Did you guys, this is not related to spring ball, but did you guys see Ted Roof's comment about Grinch's defense?
No, I would love to.
I mean, he was like, basically like no comment is what he said, but he was like, well, I don't really have anything to say about like Grinch's defense.
What was
like,
the question?
They won a lot of games. I guess he was asked about like comparing like Grinch's defense to his or like the new defensive scheme that BV is thinking up. I think I saw it on Twitter today. And he was basically just like, he was like not answering the question, but everyone knows that our defense was never that good. So it was kind of like beneath the lines. He was trying to like tiptoe around to not be like rude or anything, but things are definitely changing defensive wise.
I don't know if you guys saw that quote from Cale Gundy. We talked about it last week. But Cale Gundy basically said that learning Levy's offense is like learning Portuguese. So it looks like it's going to be really intricate. And then I looked up how long it takes to learn Portuguese, and it was like 26 weeks. And we've got like 27 weeks till game time. So we'll be sitting pretty, boys.
It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I like it. Anybody else, anything to add before we circle the wagons?
That's also interesting, just what Patrick said.
About Portuguese?
Just the Gundy quote. The Gundy quote, because I know that offense is actually a little bit more run heavy than you might think. And it's interesting to think that there could be that many intricacies built into such a run heavy offense. I haven't watched nearly enough of Ole Miss the last year or two to, dive in on it, but that's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, it also aligns with what Spencer Rattler said, because he said, I've learned more in this preseason about offensive schemes than I did my entire college career. So
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the whole thing with Lincoln is he makes it easy for his quarterbacks. That's how it works is, hey, this is how you read this, check this, throw it here. And that's where the success comes from.
Yeah. There's a really good interview done by the Oklahoma Breakdown with Shane Beamer, and Shane Beamer tries to give clarification about that Spencer Rattler quote and about the kind of offense that South Carolina runs compared to the offense that he ran while he was at Oklahoma. And it was kind of Shane trying to cover Lincoln Riley's back, but you could also tell, like, okay, yeah, Spencer has a lot more freedom and ability to do his own thing in this new South Carolina offense, which allows him to learn more. So I thought it was interesting.
I think I speak for all of us when I say this is a pro Spencer Rattler podcast, right?
I'm
especially knowing what we know now about last year's Lincoln situation.
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing about what went down was his fault. I mean, like, okay, some might have been.
Yeah.
But like pro Spencer Rattler, hope he does great for Shane Beamer in South Carolina.
I still think putting in Caleb was the right move. Like I'm still pro Caleb in that regard. But I'm like very pro Spencer. I think, he handled it really well. And then like everyone knew he was leaving, and then he left and, said some things now, but I wish him the absolute best.
Agreed. All right, let's circle the wagons. Matt, can you do it? Or is the echo too bad? You could take your headphones out and knock it out.
He's going to do it.
You're going to do
Take
it?
him out and knock him out, baby.
Love it, baby.
We're not circling the Hertzbergers.
Yeah, we're not
circling
doing that.
Circling the wagons.
Princes.
Let me give you a quick update about what's going on here. I always like to start with some OU softball. After a huge victory last night over ranked number 13 Kentucky, beating them 9-1, run ruling them in the 6th inning, and Jordy Ball had another fantastic outing. I mean, I was watching the replays. She got to, I think it was the 1st or 2nd inning. She got the bases loaded, struck out 2, got a line drive out. I mean, she has been absolutely incredible for the pitching staff coming in as a freshman. Again, she was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year last year, and she has come nothing short of performing at an exceptional level. So the current stats for softball, and again, guys, we're talking about a team that won the national championship last year and broke all types of records. This team could be better than that, which is just unreal.
I think they are.
Right now, they're 26-0 after last night's victory, 22 wins by run rule, 259 runs scored, 23 allowed. Incredible. 68 home runs, which Alo had 2 last night, which puts her at 102. The current record for all-time home runs in the NCAA women's softball. And they have 14 shutouts and currently on a 28-game win streak. Again, I don't see how a team will come into the World Series and beat them at this rate, the way that they are playing, the way they're playing defense. People are stepping up even behind Alo. I mean, they are absolutely destroying teams. And at the beginning of the year is always a notch that we haven't played anybody. Now we've played multiple ranked teams and have showed no relapse other than maybe the Tennessee game, which, again, some of those games are just going to happen for the most part. So they do have an upcoming series against Baylor, and then they play Wichita State, and then 2 games against UAB. So that is their next couple games here in the near future. Have to give a shout out to basketball. I know we talked about March Madness a little bit earlier, but do want to give a shout out to the OU men's basketball team. Went to the 2nd round at NIT, lost to St. Bonaventure, if I'm saying that right. Kind of the way that OU season was summed up. A lot of bad plays in the last couple minutes, just not on top of it. But I have to give them credit. They played hard. They were missing Elijah Harkless as well, which has been one of their key players all year. So just kind of summed up to the season in that one game. So I believe in Porter Moser. He's the guy. We gave him the extension. Only going to have future success with him at the helm. I also have to give a shout out to OU women's basketball. Didn't end on a high note. Yes, Mark, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, just on men's basketball real fast. I think just about everyone important to that team is eligible to return next year. and it'll be interesting to see who does, because, we might not even need to rely on any freshmen next year, right? Like that whole rotation could come back. So big deal there. Looking forward to 2023 under Porter Moser.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. I know there's a lot of people that could possibly come back. The biggest one being Mo Gibson. He's been incredible all year, so we'll see what his future holds. And then I know we have two recruits in the top 100. So bring that together with a veteran group and with Moser's second year, could be a pretty good second year for them moving forward, but we'll see. But I have to give a shout out to the OU women's basketball program. I don't think anyone could have predicted how well they've played this year. Now, unfortunately, did not end the season. Probably anyone could have thought. They had a second round game in the March Madness Big Dance against Notre Dame. Unfortunately lost by way more double-digit points than I think anyone. I think it ended up being 20, 30-plus blowout. I mean, Notre Dame came into Norman and absolutely wiped the floor with them. I couldn't believe when I saw the score. It was like 106-63 at one point. So not the way you want to end the season, but a lot of promise for Jenny and what she's doing. So obviously got to give a big shout out to Josie for hiring those two in and giving them extended contracts to reamp those programs and make them what they want to be. But I don't think anyone would have expected those two to have those kinds of years coming into it. I have to give a quick update on women's gym. They just won the Big 12 championship last week, so they're still crushing it. Unanimous number one right now, so they're going to continue on with what they're doing. And just a quick update on men's golf. Finished fourth in Tucson just about 4 or 5 days ago. And the biggest thing, they got the Big 12 championship coming up at the end of April. A couple more invitationals in between, but this will be the big one at the end of the season. So that is the Circle the Wagons update, and look forward to talking more in the future, baby.
Shout out to Matt Gann. Always a pleasure to have him spout off his wisdom. Mark,
he's on top of it, man.
Oh yeah,
no, it's just
totally on top of it.
Pro Matt Gann podcast.
Absolutely.
Look, he's crushing it in OU sports. He's crushing it in his love life. He's crushing it in his real estate choices these days. He's just doing good all over the place.
Matt, real quick, do you want to give like a 30-second update on your date from last week for the listeners?
The only thing you need to know is that it went well, but nothing will come of it, nothing further. We had a good time. Hey, the story is great. That's what we're here for, is to make memes. I invited the boys out for a nice Sunday lunch, and that's what came of it. So lesson learned, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
That's right.
Wayne Gretzky and Michael Scott.
That's right.
Office, so.
Credit to Matt Gann for at least going out there and shooting a shot. I can appreciate that very much.
And
so.
Patrick.
And Patrick never forget.
Shooting Gann's shot for him.
Never forget.
Exactly.
Ryan, are we must watching this week?
So we're doing a little different on must watch. Guys, just new job. I haven't really had the time to write up.
Absolutely pushing it.
An absolute like great recommendation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about a few things I'm watching. They're not complete yet usually. So I might come back and I might go into depth on a couple of these that I really want you guys to watch. But I recently watched Drive My Car, a 3-hour Japanese film that is up for
Get out.
I don't know.
Wanted to start with that
I think we might
I wanted to start with that one because I wanted to see y'all's reaction.
That's the movie I'm gonna have to
watch. Half the podcast listeners turn it off.
Yeah.
At that point.
I
also lost everyone.
I was watching it because I think that's the movie that's gonna be the punishment. So
Patrick, what's
I'm really
the
excited
meme?
about
What's
that.
the meme of that old soccer coach who is taking off the headset like that and he's like pissed off? Who do you remember? Do you know who that is?
We don't use headsets in soccer.
Well, he's listening to something and he rips it off like he can't stand to listen to it.
That's
I can't
from
even
soccer.
I think it is. I think it's a soccer.
I thought that was like a UN thing.
I have no idea. All right.
Okay,
Sorry, Ryan.
cool.
Go ahead.
Gotcha. Same thing.
It may be.
Same thing. So I also watched the other night. I watched Nightmare Alley. Bradley Cooper, Rooney Mara, film by Guillermo del Toro. Really good. Might come back with that one on an official must watch. I have watched. I'm watching currently The Dropout. We talked about that. I'm watching the Uber show. That one's called Super Pumped, I believe, on Showtime.
It's Mourinho. That's Cristiano Ronaldo in front of him.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
Jose.
That's
Jose.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice.
Sorry.
You know,
No, you're good. I'm watching.
Yeah.
He does know soccer.
We Crashed, which is the story of WeWork, and then that's on
Oh,
Apple
cool.
TV
That's
Plus.
a good one.
And then my next must watch next week is going to be a TV show called Severance, also on Apple TV Plus. So going to be talking more about that one. But that's really it for me, guys. And I will say, like, there's a lot of good stuff out on TV and movies. Oscars are coming up this Sunday. I'll have an update for you. You
will.
I know people care about it a lot.
I think we need to have Mark for the Oscars pick his make his bets he would like to place,
Right.
his
Right.
responsible
ones.
wagers, and
Oh, I bet a few.
Ryan convince him whether or not he's going to win or not. I think that's how
Oh.
we do it. So then if Mark loses, Ryan's on the hook
We blame
for the
Ryan.
loss,
Yeah, we blame Ryan.
or he's on the hook for the win.
So I've made a couple wagers here and there. I'm down to, do some research, invest here and there, make some picks,
Responsible.
and bring them to Ryan next week. And
You don't have till next
talk
week. It's
through
got to
them.
be Friday. Oscars are on
Friday.
Sunday.
Oh, it's on
Yeah.
Sunday? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
Sorry, guys.
My bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Someone give me just a minute, and I will bring up what I've already got, and we can...
I'll just go I'll be like bad pick, good pick, and we'll just go from there.
Well, here's the thing. I think we've kind of talked about them, right?
Yeah,
Most
we
of my
chatted.
picks are more high upside kind of things, right?
Uh-huh.
Like there's no money in the minus 7,000 favorite, right?
Yeah,
So you throw $10 at, say, Denzel,
that's a
who's
terrible
plus
pick.
7,000. It's not terrible. That's rude as hell. This is Denzel. We are talking
Denzel's
about.
already won.
It's
He's not gonna
unlikely.
win.
It's not terrible. I'm telling Denzel.
Who else you
Yeah.
got?
Let's say you throw $10 at the homie Professor Lockhart himself, Kenneth Branagh,
For what?
plus
Director?
1,000 to win Best Director.
That's not gonna happen either.
Okay, but plus 1,000 is more fun than
Yeah.
whatever BS you're gonna tell me.
Yeah,
Oh,
but remember,
Something foreign, I'm sure.
go ahead,
And
Matt.
here's the fun one. Ryan,
Uh-huh.
Best Actress Olivia Colman,
Love that pick. Absolutely
Plus-
love it.
plus 435.
I love
Ooh.
it. Jessica
Yeah,
Chastain's probably gonna win, but I love the Olivia Colman pick because I think she's sneaky and the Academy loves her.
What were you
And
going to
if
say,
she
Matt?
wins, I cover all my bets so far. So, but
Go,
I'll
Matt.
get some more. I'll get some. No, I won't.
yeah.
No, you
No.
won't.
We
Just
won't.
text them to me and we'll just screen them
Yeah.
for the listeners.
Offline.
Matt, Matt, get in there.
No, I was just gonna say you gotta play the number, right? It's not about the actual award, who's in it, the movie, the director. Who cares about that?
It's the
It's
number.
all about the number, baby.
Exactly. Pat, do you want to give your hot take of the week? Or are we taking a break?
We can do
off?
it real quick.
All right.
just-
He's got his hat.
I got it.
I
do it.
love
You gotta
that
do
the
it.
hat's ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a hot take. I mean, I think most people would agree with me that basketball rules suck. Out of any sport ever, I think basketball rules are the worst rules. And the main reason is that it encourages fouling towards the end of the game. And if you have to encourage fouling in your sport, that's silly to me. Also, I don't really like the bonus and the bonus plus thing. Becca explained it to me and I was like, okay, fair enough. But if you have to add rules to all your already rules, I think you're losing. Like that's not good. That's the main thing. I just think it, and also one more thing. I never know when when they foul someone, if it's going to be a free throw or not. I know that you guys know because it's like, oh, he was kind of shooting there, but I think that's very subjective. Sometimes I'm like, he wasn't shooting, and Becca was like, no, he's shooting. No, not for me. Not for me. Worst rules.
Okay.
Worst rules.
Okay. Well, I
don't know.
I just like with what you just said, you were like, I don't know when they're shooting a free throw, when they're not. That's literally what the bonus and the bonus plus is for. So you can tell if they're going to shoot,
but
if they're not going to shoot.
He means like continuation, I think.
You mean
I
like
think
the
he means like
continuation of the play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
and yeah, there's no
or
advantage.
like when it's
that's
a
silly.
shooting foul.
I love the
versus
advantage
foul
when it's a
before
shooting.
the
Got
shot,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So here's my thing. And Patrick, I love you.
I know.
You're tall, and so you're kind of good at basketball. And I'm giving you that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think what we learned in that minute and a half or so is Patrick doesn't quite get basketball.
Yeah.
When he's watching basketball.
A little bit. Yeah.
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 But still, I hate the fouling towards the end of the game.
No, you're
That's
Free
silly.
throws
I
are a
agree.
part of the game.
I
Free throws
agree.
are a part of a game, and you better be good at them. Like practice, right?
I
The
agree.
big thing
I-
is,
as
Patrick,
a-
it's time management.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's a lot like a goalie leaving the goal at the end of a match, where it's like, oh yeah, it absolutely is, Matt, where it's like, okay, we're going all out for this. All we can do is try to make this happen this way. No one's
Clock never stops in
happy.
soccer.
No one's happy about fouling. Sure, but I just mean like as far as it's a competitive decision that you make.
I think
the clock never stops, but they extend it.
I think here's the comparison. There's 20 seconds left in a football game. Your quarterback starts running backwards, and everyone on the offensive line holds. And the play continues, and then all of a sudden, the game's over because the 20 seconds goes away. So
Like
you
I
can
said,
intentionally
guys, I'm not
foul.
sure he gets it, and that's
Basketball's
Hey,
but
it's not a
basketball, you
problem,
can't even
but-
compare basketball and football. They're two completely different things. They
I'm just
play
saying
at
if we
different
were
paces.
to compare.
And we were to compare.
I
They
get.
play
I
it. They
get
play
where
at
you're-
completely different
look.
paces.
If you did compare this apple and this orange,
I-
just what would that look like?
I get that the basketball rules about fouling aren't ideal, but that's just the way they are. And also, we can't really, as a massive football fan, can't complain about basketball rules when the football rules are so ass backwards half the time and so confusing. Like you need to watch football for 5 years before you know what's fully going on 100%. So I can't really
learned-
do that.
I learned recently, actually, that in football, if your receiver catches the ball and goes out of bounds, but he's going out of bounds backwards, then the clock keeps running.
I had no
If
idea.
he's- Yeah, right.
I had no
I
idea.
would see times where dudes step
like
out of
that.
bounds and the clocks just keeps going, and it's like, y'all.
I thought it
People
had
should
to
use
do-
that to their advantage more.
I thought it had to do with his own, like going out with his own volition or being forced out. I had no idea.
Well, yeah, I guess if he's pushed out of bounds backwards, it's still clock stops. But if he gives himself up backwards, stepping backwards, the clock
Okay.
keeps going. I
All right.
hate it, man. I got like name your team -6.5, and the clock keeps running. And
Yeah. Okay. That was Pat's hot take. Matt, what'd you have? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask. I don't. The only rule I don't understand is the 1-and-1 when you get to 7 fouls. That's the only thing. Why don't you just get 2 free throws? I don't get the 1-and-1 to start, and then when you get to 10, and it's double bonus. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't. That's the one thing that does bother me in college basketball. They obviously don't do that in the NBA, but that doesn't make a lot of sense for me in college.
the
it
one thing that
discourages violent play.
mean-
that super bugs me about college ball is the 30-second shot clock. I despise it. They need to drop it to 24 like pros.
It used to be 35. It was a nightmare.
I know.
So bad.
I think we get there eventually.
Could
but
be
it's gonna
worse. It could be
20
Could be
years.
high school basketball where there's not a shot clock.
That's awful.
So bad.
Man,
As a
I
guy,
used-
as a guy who covered a lot of high school basketball, it's arguably the worst thing that we do as a society. It's really bad. It's really, really bad.
a lot
and
of
it
bad
needs-
stuff out there.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff out there. I want you to think about the worst thing. The high school not having a shot clock is worse than that. It's so bad. It's awful.
Think about your local sportscaster.
Yeah, think about him. He's got a freaking deadline It's whatever. Shout out to all my local sports people out there.
Shut up.
It's time for our PGP MVPs of the week. I want to start with Matt Gann. Matt Gann, you want to give me your MVP, brother?
Yeah, I picked a team. I picked North Carolina in the March Madness. I think I was one of few that selected them to beat Baylor in the second round, which obviously helps my bracket. But also, Ryan's girlfriend went to Baylor. She always complains and all these things. So, I had to just give a shout out on the pod that,
dude, she's not going to be happy with you.
Tar Heels over Bears.
She's not going to be happy with you. So I'm just gonna let you deal with that.
Oh my God. All right, we'll stay in California. Patrick, who's your MVP?
Yeah, I had Ferrari as a Formula One team.
Yeah.
The last race, or the first race of the season, was this past weekend. So I had Ferrari. They finished both first and second. Reason why I had them, though, because there's a lot of changes to the regulations on how cars had to be made going into this season. And Mercedes and Red Bull were kind of the fastest cars last year, and Ferrari was kind of a close third, fourth. They had really good drivers last year, but for Ferrari to place first and second, it means that they are doing everything right now with their cars, and that's why they're my MVP.
If you haven't seen Drive to Survive on Netflix, I highly recommend it. I have binged 3 seasons of that in like 4 days. It's electric television. And I didn't want to start it because I know nothing about Formula One and I don't like motorsports and I don't like racing like that. It is very intriguing because it's about racing, but it's not about racing. It's about everything that goes into getting you to race day and what happens behind the scenes. And it's extremely, extremely riveting television. It's very, very good. You should watch it. Mason's must watch of the week. New segment. New segment alert, Matt. Matt, new segment alert. New sound. New segment alert.
You sound like a seizure.
When did we do
that? No, that was it. That was the sound. He's always done that. It's all from the beginning. From the beginning. It's always been it. Yeah. It's always been it. All right, Mark, go ahead.
So my PGP MVP of the week is Matt Ryan, the former Falcons quarterback, drafted 3rd overall in 2008. His first pass was a touchdown pass, and it was just a harbinger of what to come for us as Falcons fans. The last 5 years have been tough, but all of my best moments with professional football have been watching Matt Ryan play. And the thing that I'm struck with as he moves to Indy is the kind of person that we're losing at the quarterback position. Just a steady, consummate professional that you never have to worry about is going to be prepared or not. He's always going to be in the right spot, making the right decisions. Now, last few years, he's fallen off here and there for sure. A lot of it's an arm strength thing, but if anyone deserves to go to another team and win a Super Bowl and potentially wrap their career up that way, Matt Ryan deserves it because he's given everything he's had every single year, and there just isn't a better guy. So Matt Ryan for MVP, baby.
Mark, I've never seen you so emotional. Are you okay?
I'm good. It's just it's been a very weird thing for me as the Falcons were like selling out this really awesome person who came into an impossible situation and handled it better than anyone possibly could have expected, and how they just sold him out and humiliated him and his standing in the franchise in favor of at best, like a weird dude, right? At absolute best, a super strange person. And it's left a sour taste in my mouth because Matt Ryan deserves better.
You're right. I've been of the opinion for a long time, and me and you have talked about this, Mark. Matt Ryan doesn't get enough credit as he deserved for his tenure in Atlanta. I think a lot of people like to hate on him because he didn't win a Super Bowl and, you know, the 28-3 stuff. That 28-3 stuff was not Matt Ryan's fault. Like,
Correct.
that was not on Matt Ryan. And I don't think that should be hitched to his wagon whatsoever. If anything, it should be hitched to Kyle Shanahan's wagon.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Okay, Ryan.
All right, guys. Mine is a company.
Oh,
It's Nortex Fence and Patio.
that's right.
Who just finished my my backyard patio and pergola that I put in, and it is beautiful. So, you know, I just want to give a quick you know, they just did a great job.
It's a beautiful patio. Tell the folks you're getting a Traeger out there, right?
Yeah, I bought a Traeger.
Yeah,
my furniture is supposed to come tomorrow.
Dude.
I'm getting my rug tomorrow.
Man.
We're gonna hang lights out there. We're really gonna make that a Dallas
Future
event
event space.
space, right? For the
Vintage,
program
baby.
guys.
Dude.
Vintage.
It must be nice to just be you. Like, just to be you, you know?
Even
Man.
pre Nortex Vincent patio.
Yeah. Just what a guy. What a guy that Ryan Tyson.
They did a
Congrats.
great job. So I mean, this was expensive as hell, but it's not their fault. So they did a great job. Big shout out.
All
to
right.
them.
My last but not least, my PGP MVP of the week has got to be Chris Greer, the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. He gets a lot of crap, mostly from me, about not doing a very good job. And to be fair, he deserved a lot of that. But one of the biggest moves he made was trading Laramie Tunsil to the Houston Texans. Those draft picks have returned in full, and they've done very, very well for the Miami Dolphins. And Laramie Tunsil actually tweeted today something to the effect of y'all still getting stuff from me, because the picks that the Dolphins got for Laramie Tunsil turned into the trade for Tyreek Hill in part. Chris Greer has gone all in on Tua Tagovailoa. He has gone all in on this team. He has made solid moves. He drafted Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle last year, who have turned into fantastic players. He's just doing a very good job. And in the NFL, especially with my Miami Dolphins fandom, I don't give the team or the front office a lot of credit. He deserves some credit for doing a very good job, turning the Dolphins into a playoff contender, a solid playoff contender at that, and almost to the point where if they don't make the playoffs, it's a massive failure. So that's where I'm at. Anything else before we get out of here, guys? How's everybody feeling? Matt, Pat, what are you guys about to go do?
Happy hour.
Happy
Oysters.
hour. Oysters.
Ooh, nice.
You sure you haven't already been having happy hour?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll send you a
making
Snapchat
sure.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, just making sure. All right. Ryan, Mark, anything before we get out?
I
Gotta
think
love
I'm
it.
good.
Gotta love it. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Oh, wait, I do have one thing.
Oh, I started my spiel.
I'm so
Mark.
sorry. I'm so sorry. It's about your pick, Chris Greer. I texted this earlier, but the people need it too. Fins up, pregnant women down, baby. Tyreek Hill,
Jesus.
Oklahoma
Cut it
State's
out.
finest,
out.
man.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Man.
He's not wrong.
I
I
don't
would
know
like to
football
go.
enough to
I
understand
would like
that.
to go on record that the Program Guys podcast is anti beating pregnant women. That's on the record.
Cut it out of the pod.
Go to the pod. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow on our Twitter at Program Guys with a Z, on our Instagram at Program Guys with a Z. We want to hear from you. Where are you standing right now in our tournament bracket challenge? Let us know who's your upset pick of the week. Let us know where your Final Four is at. One more shout out to Ryan Heil. He's at the top of our table. Let's make sure to give a shout out to whoever wins at the end. Our prize for the winner will be announced next week. Be sure to join us for the pod next week as we discuss that and more. As always, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.